What's your favorite question to ask someone to get to know them better? What hobbies do you have? Always interesting if they have any. Lots of musicians out there. I'm unmusical but wish I was able to do what so many others can. I've always believed that the kind of music someone likes can give you a lot of insight into what they're like as a person, so I like to get people talking about that. Note that I'm not talking about broad stereotypes like you listen to pop so you're boring, but more little details. For example, one of sisters doesn't like complicated, loud, or otherwise overwhelming music as a rule. She likes calmer stuff with thoughtful lyrics. She's a very anxious person and a musician herself, so I think her taste in music reflects on her desire for peace and to grow as an artist by picking apart and analyzing the work of others. The other likes classics, stuff our mom and dad and grandparents listened to. She's very empathetic and has a fierce love for her family, and I think music helps her connect with them when they're away. My dad's music is all acoustic guitar and lyrics about relaxing in nice weather with your loved ones. That man loves Jack Johnson, which is what he'd do all the time if he could help it. I listen to bits and pieces and odds and ends from all different genres and eras, and my library is constantly shifting and expanding, which I think reflects the fact that I'm curious almost to a fault and constantly need to be experiencing new things to feel content. I also think I'm not really into music is an equally interesting response, because for a lot of people, music is a way to engage with complex emotions or experience catharsis as well as to just have a good time or enhance an already positive experience/improve a negative one, and if you're not into music you must get all that stuff from something else, which I will also be interested to hear about, and will also tell me something about them. How you doing? I usually work with people from other countries. I always ask them what they miss most about home. Most of the time it ends up being their family. But that leads on to more questions, reliving memories of relationships they don't get to be part of as much as they used to. It lets me learn who is the most important people to them. I try to remember for future conversations. Who'd you vote for? If they say Trump, I already know 2 things about them. Moron and racist. Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you? The first question my wife ever asked me was, if you had to choose between sweating mayonnaise forever or having sausage link fingers, which would you choose? And we've been married for 5 years, so. Do you think OJ did it? This is always the question I ask people, kind of to be an ass, but mostly to entertain myself by their answer and shock that I'd ask that. Funny enough, my boyfriend, we met because he was a regular at my work when I was a cashier. The third time ever speaking to / meeting him, asked me, do you think OJ did it? After saying maybe 20 words to each other in total before this. I knew then and there I needed to date this guy. We've been together 3 years and lived together, can't see myself having a future with anybody else. He's my best friend and my very worst enemy. He'll never forget this one time I went out to a bar with a friend and his co-workers, and a girl asked me as an icebreaker, what's the worst thing you've ever done? I was fucking blown away. I asked them to tell me about their favorite pizza. Do you swallow? When you poop in the shower, do you scoop it up and toss it in the toilet, or do you waffle stomp it down the drain? What's your favorite Pokemon? The answer will tell me a lot. I don't know people. What zodiac sign are you? And hashtag X200B. And hashtag X200B. I'm joking. Ya like Marmite? If you had one superpower, what would it be? These days, what's your favorite podcast gets everyone going? On a post similar to this, someone said you can learn more about someone when you ask them about things they hate, as opposed to things they like. Have you heard of the High Elves? Tell me a story. Do you like the rain? Which is the best dating group? Hey, what's up? How old are you? How did you get in my house? My old roommate had this one queued up when we first met. Would you be okay with it if I had an ostrich as a pet? What are your thoughts on adult coloring books? First time I ever met my partner's cousin, she asked me, have you ever blown in an owl's ear? She was being totally serious and is an adorable super green earth/animal lover. If you could get on plane tomorrow and fly anywhere, where would you go? What brand of mayonnaise is in your fridge? Tits or ass? Are you vaccinated? So what's your trauma? Hello to the people who commented. Seen any terrible films recently? What would the narrator in Amelie say about you? What question do you wish someone had asked you today? Sometimes it gets people to start spilling their emotional baggage and they appreciate the vent, but mostly people pivot to stuff like a cool new fact they learned that they haven't been able to force into a conversation. If you had to eat one kind of vegetable at least once a day, every day, for the rest of your life, what kind of vegetable would you choose? You would be allowed to eat other things too, and it could be prepared differently each time, but you had to eat that one kind of vegetable at least once daily for the rest of your life. This lets me know if the other person can cook, what kind of foods they like to eat, and lets me know how adventurous and or creative their palate is. My personal answer is onion. 99% of the savory dishes I personally cook call for onions, and it's in many different types of cuisine. Many people I ask say potato, garlic, peppers, tomato. Yes, it's a fruit, but I don't usually argue as it's treated as a vegetable in most dishes. I have also heard corn, soy, cocoa bean, vanilla bean, and sugar cane. I don't want to get to know anyone, lol. Do you like Andrei Tarkovsky films? I ask people how big a monkey/primate they think they could beat in a fight. I raise my hand until they say stop. The monkey/primate chosen is the nastiest one possible given the height. If anyone thinks they can beat a fully grown chimp/orangutan or gorilla, I know they're FKN idiot. Honestly, if someone is confident with anything bigger than a spider monkey, I don't trust their judgment. Turns out I never asked my wife this, just asked her. We good? Does pineapple belong on pizza? Always a sensitive topic amongst my coworkers. So how many cucumber can you fit up your ass? My record is 4. Ask if they voted for Biden or the one-term orange failure who ran our country into the ground over the last 4 years. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? What's your happiest memory? I tend to ask after a short time randomly out of nowhere, do you have any spare light bulbs at all? To see if they have a sense of warped humor too, which is an instant match, or scare them off thinking I'm a closet tweaker. Which is still good for a laugh at the same time. What's the last movie you saw? F. Marry, Kill. Betty White, Oprah, Martha Stewart. Go. So, how do you feel about full frontal nudity? What song do you want played at your funeral? Do you like coriander? Do you think blood has a smell? Do you think insider trading should be legal? Who wrote Notes from the Underground? Does this look infected? What book would you like to live in? What are your passions/hobbies? It always leads to some interesting conversations. I also feel like it's a good way to know a person better as how vast this topic is. Also, I love knowing people's passions/hobbies. What kind of music do you like? And can they cook or not? I think the cooking question is a great icebreaker for me, cause whether she can cook or not. On a future date, it's something we can do together. And I love all genres of music, so I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. Music, what kind of music are you into? When I was human anyway. Lamau, do you f#k on first dates? Nice shoes, do you wanna fuck? Asking somebody if they smoke. Non-smokers will say no, cigarette smokers will say yes, and stoners will say smoke what? If you could live in any world in any universe, what would it be and why? If you could get any minor plastic surgery for free, what would it be? It's obviously a touchy question, so reserved for people you already know and who don't have issues, but you get some very interesting answers and things they'd want fixed that you can't even notice. Someone said realigning their nose because they'd broken it when they were young and it was skew, and it was so interesting because it was so difficult to even see, but it immediately came to their mind. What's your zodiac? Super late to the thread, but I like to ask people that I recently met one of the two questions: if you could do anything as a job, and that would make you living, what would you do? Or if you were given 500,000 euros with the purpose of making your dream come true, how would you go about that? I like the first one to learn about their imagination and whether or not they daydream, basically. You learn if they are more realistic or more creative person. It also helps them maybe redirect their course of life closer to what they wish for it to be, even if ever so slightly. The second one has a similar role, with a twist. Oftentimes you can help them learn that they don't really need a lot of money to at least start on making their dream come true. Most people are, apparently, very humble about their dreams. I don't know, I like to serve both of these questions in a fairly casual way, and they work best that way. So people don't get a sense that they need to say something noble or fancy. I just want to learn who you are. With